Good morning and welcome to Arise News Now. I'm Gavin Ramjohn in London. It's Wednesday the 7th of August and our top story at this hour, a huge fire has broken out at the main international airport in Kenya, causing it to close and forcing the evacuation of hundreds of passengers. Images coming in from broadcasters around the country showed flames engulfing one of the main buildings. The Jomo Kenyatta Airport in Nairobi is a major gateway to the east of Africa. At the moment, there are no reports of casualties. The Cabinet have stated it's a very severe situation and have urged people to stay away. Well, with more on this now, we can talk to our East Africa correspondent, Tom Walsh, who's on the ground in Nairobi. Tom, good to speak to you. Do we know any more on what caused the fire?
At the moment, Gavin, no. Investigators are still waiting for all the blaze to be put out before they go into the building and fully inspect what's going on. What we do know at the moment is that it started at around 5 a.m. in the morning at the main international arrivals area. And there are now pictures coming out of that area, and there is extensive damage that has been caused to that part of the airport. But the airport as a whole, as you say, has been closed at the moment. All flights have been cancelled or are being redirected to Mombasa Airport, which is on the coast, or Eldoret in the west, or other regional airports like in Tanzania and Uganda. But yes, still unclear at the moment how this fire has been caused, but extensive damage has been done to the airport, and it will certainly take quite a while before the main country's airport is up and running again.
And we can see some of the pictures coming in from the airport. What is the situation like at the scene? Is it quite a tense atmosphere down there? Is the fire under control as well, Tom?
Yes, it has. It's been very tense. The whole of the airport has been cordoned off. People have been asked to stay away. The airport is at the end of the main Mombasa road, and that road has now been completely clogged up, and huge delays have been caused, especially now during what has been rush hour. And yes, at the moment, the airport has been closed, and there are, of course, going to be caused severe delays. The problem is Jomo Kenyatta International Airport is the biggest and only airport for the capital, Nairobi, and other flights which will be diverted to places, as I said, like Mombasa. It's going to be a problem for people who are coming to Kenya to do business, because Mombasa is at least an 8-hour drive from the capital, Nairobi. So this is going to cause serious problems.
Yeah, like you say, it's a big distance to the next airport. So how much of a problem do you think that this will cause to the transport, travel and tourism industry in the country?
Well, for the moment, it will cause a huge problem. I've already seen now a latest Reuters wire that's come out saying that Kenya Airways shares have gone down 2%. Kenya is the biggest industrial and transport and economic hub for the region of East Africa. There have been a lot of work being done on Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Before this fire was taking place, they're building a new terminal as well. And that just goes to show that there is a huge demand for business in this region. And Jomo Kenyatta Airport is the main entrance and exit for all of that business. So it's going to cause a huge problem.
And how seriously are the authorities taking this? What safety measures are in place?
The authorities are taking this incredibly seriously. I mean, even as I speak, the president, Uhuru Kenyatta, is currently at the airport surveying the damage. So they're taking it very seriously indeed. But, I mean, there have been huge problems recently at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Even last week, there was a shortage of jet fuel, which caused severe delays. And there's been legal wranglings at the moment about the buying and selling of shops within the airport itself. And it goes to show, that it's all a huge issue because it is so important for the country and the country's economy as well. So they are taking it incredibly seriously, but a lot of questions will be asked out of this as well. The fire started at 5 a.m. this morning, and it seems to have taken about 4 hours for them to get this fire under control, and that's only just about under control now. So a lot of questions are going to be asked, and I'm sure people are very, very keen to get into the main area and start finding out, how did this fire occur? And investigators will be doing that shortly, I expect.
Interesting stuff. Tom, very good to speak to you. OK, we'll have more on that later on today at 1 p.m. GMT on the Arise News Hour. Now in Syria, a key military airport near the northern city of Aleppo has fallen into rebel hands, as Julie Noche reports.
Syrian rebels now control a military airport near the border with Turkey, marking an important victory for the opposition. Opposition activists say they captured the Minik military airport after an 8-month siege with forces loyal to President Bashar al-Assad. An activist monitoring group said around 70 of Assad's soldiers had been holding on to a small section of the airport, which was destroyed earlier this week when a suicide bomber drove an armored vehicle into the building. The months-long assault spilled over into a nearby town where buildings were destroyed and reduced to rubble. Assad's forces had made initial inroads into the region, but were turned back after rebels received new supplies of weapons, including anti-tank missiles.
Now, an African rock python which strangled 2 young Canadian boys as they slept has been put down. Police say they've launched a criminal probe into the deaths. Gavino Garay reports.
An investigation into the bizarre and deadly. Canadian police have launched a criminal probe into the deaths of 2 boys, aged 4 and 6, after they were killed in their sleep by a python from a downstairs pet store.
The preliminary investigation has led police to believe that a python snake had escaped his enclosure at the store sometime overnight and got into the ventilation system, then into an upstairs apartment. It's believed that 2 boys were strangled by the snake. The snake was captured and is in possession of the RCMP right now.
The 2 were spending the night at a friend's apartment above the Reptile Ocean exotic pet store.
And we did receive a formal confirmation a few moments ago that it is an African rock python.
Autopsies are currently being performed on the 2 boys, as well as a necropsy on the python, which was captured and euthanized after the boys were discovered. The reptile store did not respond to requests for comment.
Iran's new president has offered an olive branch of sorts to the US in talks on Tehran's nuclear program. It raises the hopes of progress after years of stalemate. Mana Rabi reports.
Iran's new president offered an olive branch of sorts to the U.S. on Tuesday. Speaking at his first news conference, Hassan Rouhani raised the hope of progress over Tehran's disputed nuclear program after years of stalemate.
We are determined to resolve the dispute. We are ready for serious and substantive discussions. If the other side is also similarly ready to talk, I am confident that the concerns from both sides through discussion can be resolved.
But like his predecessors before him, Rouhani also said nuclear technology is a right of the Iranian people and that he won't abandon Iran's nuclear program, creating barely cautious optimism in U.S. State Department spokesperson Jen Psaki.
There are steps they need to take to meet their international obligations and find a peaceful solution to this issue, and the ball is in their court.
Russia welcomed Iran's apparent olive branch, but Israel cautioned that now is not the time to release political and economic pressure on Iran. The last high-level talks with Iran and world powers were in April, but failed to break the deadlock.
The NASA rover Curiosity has marked a year since making its daredevil landing on the Red Planet. Deborah Gambara has the story.
It's been a year since a Curiosity rover first touched down on Mars.
Touchdown confirmed. We're safe on Mars.
In that time, Curiosity has used its robotic arm to dig and drill at the Red Planet and gather evidence to determine that, yes, it was indeed capable of harboring single-cell microbial life. While it's encouraging news, astronauts aboard the International Space Station say a manned mission to Mars is still a distant dream.
I think there's just a lot of things to think about, knowing that it's a trip that can't be resupplied, can't be, once you're going. And, I think we'll get there eventually, but I think right now there's still a lot of work to do.
Next up for the rover is investigating a mound of sediment called Mount Sharp and gathering enough samples for scientists to determine which sections of the planet are more hospitable to life.
Oh, it's summer in Kazakhstan once again, and for the shepherd community, it means an annual pilgrimage to the picturesque Asi Plateau. Nathan Frandino reports.
With snow-capped peaks as their backdrop, the lush, rolling hills outside Almaty, Kazakhstan are home to a centuries-old tradition, shepherding. Each summer, shepherds trek to the green valleys to tend to their sheep, cattle, and horses. The temperate summer climate's rains provide grass perfect for the livestock. It's a lifestyle that shepherds say hasn't changed much over many years.
Is it a hard life for Kazakhs? The summer pastures? It's a tradition that comes from our ancestors. Great and strong people were born and brought up here, at the summer pasture. Poets and warriors, what we could not write down, we spread by word of mouth.
In between watching their herds, many of the shepherds and their families live in yurts, which are wooden structures typically covered with layers of fabric for insulation. Together, the families spend the yearly pilgrimage milking the animals, churning cream and yogurt, and living just like their ancestors.
Now, the 2011 revolution that toppled the former leader Hosni Mubarak dealt a severe blow to Egypt's tourism industry, once the mainstay of their economy. And things have gone from bad to worse since June, when violent protests broke out against ousted President Mohamed Morsi. Florian Ploscher reports.
These are sites on most travelers' must-see list. But beyond these tranquil desertscapes, political upheaval is keeping tourists away. The 2011 revolution that toppled Hosni Mubarak dealt a severe blow to Egypt's tourism industry, once a mainstay of the country's economy. The latest unrest, resulting in the removal of Islamist President Morsi in July, has seen things go from bad to worse.
We hope the Lord will bring back the days when there was work, because we rely totally on tourism. How will we pay our taxes, our salaries, our rent?
The year before Mubarak's ouster, Egypt attracted close to 15 million visitors, a top year for the sector. Numbers have since dropped by several million. Travel warnings from Western embassies do little to encourage the hesitant tourist, although not everyone is put off.
As long as you travel safe and are kind of smart about the decisions that you're making, a lot of times the people are a lot nicer than the media makes them out to be. And so we decided to go on an adventure, I guess, and to see the pyramids and to see some of the people and to understand a little bit more what's happening here. So.
Egypt's tourism minister says he's working hard to lift the travel warnings.
The short-term plan focuses on tourism in destinations like the Red Sea and South Sinai, where there's a certain degree of security, far from the hotspots.
But that will be little help for vendors here, in Cairo's famous Khan el-Khalili market. The crowds here are mainly Egyptians, enjoying an evening out. The foreign visitors are nowhere to be seen.
In sport, Luis Suarez has said he wants to leave Liverpool to join a side that competes in the Champions League. The Uruguay striker, who's 26, intends to submit a transfer request by the end of the week if a move is blocked. Premier League rivals Arsenal have made 2 bids, with the latest £40 million plus £1 in an attempt to trigger a release clause. Liverpool, who finished 7th in the Premier League last season, have rejected the offers and insist the clause does not force them to sell. Suarez hasn't travelled with the squad for a pre-season match in Norway because of a foot injury. Now, don't forget you can contact us online anytime. We're at arise.tv on the website. You can contact us on Facebook as well, facebook.com/AriseTVNews, and post any comments or thoughts on the shows there as well. And on Twitter too, with Arise TV, or at Arise TV even. And on YouTube as well, /the Arise News channel. I'll have continuous updates for you throughout the day. Our top story, of course, is that fire at the Nairobi International Airport. Thanks for watching.